Welcome to Gaia's Love, a podcast to guide you home into your human journey here on Earth. My name is Vivienne Gerard, and it is my delight to co-create with Gaia and share our messages from Source in this now moment. Here we go. Episode 413. It is Thursday here in Cincinnati. It's chilly and we are wrapping up so many different areas, and the podcast is one of those that I'm wrapping up today. So let's see, it is the 16th of December today. I will be closing down all of my work tomorrow and taking 2 weeks off, and then I will be back sometime early in January. So this wall that I've been sitting in front of for the last few episodes is going to be transformed, and the next time we come back into this podcast space, you will see a completely different set environment backdrop. My tree is going to be put up, and my husband and I will be doing some redesigning of this space. So I'm really excited for that to happen. I'm not sure if that means I'll be back the first week of January, the 2nd, or the 3rd. I'm not sure, but whenever it's ready is when I will be returning into this podcast space. If you are missing me during that time, there's a lot of episodes that you can go back and listen or watch for the more recent ones. Those were all on video. So yeah, good stuff is going to be happening. Transformation in this space before I come back to you. As we complete 2021, I have so many thoughts and reflections, and what seems to keep coming forward for today, for this final episode for this year, is a title of Why Are You Here? A question. Why are you here? Why are you here listening to this podcast? Why are you here in this human body? Why are you here on this planet at this time? Whatever level you would like to take it to, all of those contemplations are open. And when I was thinking about it, about the title, I realized it's a question. As my voice changes, I realized it's a question, and I don't have very many question titles in my podcast. If you've been listening for a while, you know that it's mostly statements, and statements that are designed to inspire you to look inward and to ask questions of yourself, but the titles are not normally a question. And so this morning I was looking back at the titles, and I found it interesting. I'm going to share it with you. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the 6th one that has a question. So episode number 64, Dreams or Reality? Question mark. Number 145, Ready Yet? Question mark. Number 183, Fear or Love? Question mark. Number 318, Are You Listening? Question mark. Number 330, Now What? Question mark. And then today, why are you here? Why? Why are you here? And I found it fascinating as I was looking at the titles to see the questions and the ways that they came up and the spacing between them, to now arrive at the end of this year and have this summary question. Why are you here? And there are so many pathways. I mean, this is the path of enlightenment, isn't it? It's to ask the question and to keep going deeper and deeper into yourself until you come to that realization, that full understanding or awareness of why you're here, a soul having this human experience. And teachers and masters and gurus and lineages have presented all of these pathways of how you can, these teachings of how you can answer that question for yourself. And so I'm not here to tell you what the answer is. You are the only one who can answer that for yourself. I'm here to bring the question forward and present it for your consciousness especially as we wrap up this year and prepare to begin the new one. Sometimes we, as I'm doing, we claim some time over the holidays to chill, relax, be still, review perhaps what this past year has been, maybe set some resolutions or goals for the new year. And I would add, at this particular time on our planet, when it looks like the world is in chaos, go inward. Even if it's just for a little while, go inward and ask that question of yourself. Like, why am I here? Why am I here? Is it to work a job that I don't enjoy? Is it to be around people who deplete me or don't appreciate who I am and the gifts that I have to share? And these are not, I've answered a lot of these questions, so I've created a pretty sweet reality where much of that is not something I have to ask anymore. But because I have asked that before and made changes, I can bring these questions to you for you to explore. Do you enjoy the work that you do? Do you feel like you're in alignment with a greater purpose than just, making a paycheck and paying the bills and being in an office or a community or school or wherever you are during your work days? Is there some compelling, soul-inspiring purpose that has you get out of bed every morning? Often when we don't know the answer to the question, why am I here? Or when we don't want to spend the time to actually think about it or look at it, and we'd rather rush and be busy, and it's not even sometimes a conscious choice, it's kind of the default. It's like what just happens. Life gets busy and our plates get more and more full, and we have more and more stuff and people that we have to manage, and we kind of just get into this default of getting through the day and getting to the next day and starting over and wrapping that day up and going, and we just move almost robotically or automatically through time. And then days, weeks, months, years go by, and suddenly we realize, well, why? Maybe this is why I'm bringing it forward. Maybe we have a realization of, why am I doing this? Why is this my day? Why am I spending my time with these people doing these things? Like, what? Why? And when that starts to bubble inside of us, often one of the next questions is, well, then why am I actually here? If it's not to do that, what is it to do? And how do I align with that, or open up space to contemplate that, or explore different pathways and see which one starts to feel inspiring and compelling? So I present the question in this moment as an encouragement to be brave enough to ask yourself, like, why are you here? And see what answers come forward. I found, as my nose itches, I have found that I don't always have the answer immediately, or I have lots of answers. And then as I sort through, like, the ones that are most immediate, like, I'm here to love, I'm here to raise my children, I'm here to be a good wife, I'm here to take care of my parents, I'm here for these things that I do and that we all do and that are beautiful. And why am I really, really here? Like, if I were to go all the way inside and, like, feel it deep inside, would there be other answers? Would there be deeper layers? Would there be teachings or lessons at a soul level that start to come forward that we've been working on our whole lives and perhaps just haven't named out loud, or haven't allowed them to sit in the front of our awareness? We kind of keep pushing those things to the back, like, shh, don't bother me right now. Like when our children are little and we're like, don't ask the question why, shh, just accept my answer. I know, and I tell you, and that should be enough. And then there's another, well, why? Why, Mom? Why? Our soul is like that. It kind of taps, and then taps a little louder, and then taps a lot louder, and we get really good at blocking it and shushing it and ignoring those nudges that say there might be something magical here if I actually sit and feel into the answers. Sometimes in our dreams, the answers will present themselves and we'll have flashes or feelings, and we'll wake up in the morning and there's this sense of longing or like this urge to do something different for the day, and yet we tend to stop that, block that, get up. What's that great Dunkin' Donuts commercial? My husband and I say that often. Time to get up and make the donuts. Time to get up and get through the same routine that we've been doing. The end of a calendar year offers us a beautiful excuse or reason or justification of why we would ask some of those big questions. Like why? Why am I here? And what is my greater calling, my biggest purpose? Underneath all the other to-dos, what is the big soul to do? And how do I align with that? The calendar year lets us sort of have a reason for looking at it. Did I accomplish anything on that trajectory in this past year? Am I any closer to my goals, whatever those goals might be for ourselves? And then the best, right? Setting resolutions for the new year. My son gave me one yesterday. I was like, or Tuesday, I'm like, don't set New Year's resolutions. You're like setting yourself up to fail. And I think it's because of the word resolution. It's like, I resolve to do this thing. And that feels very like I'm imposing this upon myself. Perhaps a better word would be a New Year's invitation or a New Year's intention. And so we offer our best to doing that thing that we think will serve us. But anyway, that's just a word definition to explore on your own. Yeah, at the end of the year, we kind of have an excuse to look at it. And sometimes when there are big changes in our lives, like I talked about last week, when we have someone that we love who transitions, and it brings that question forward very quickly and powerfully. Like, am I fulfilling my life before I die? Am I doing the things that I know I came here to do? And if not, like, how do I get things back on track? Death will bring that forward. Illness brings it forward. Financial crisis. There are so many major life shifts, marriage, birth of children, that bring those big questions forward. And I feel like what I'm asking at this time is, why do we need to wait for any of those to happen? Why can't we just ask today or this week or next week? For no reason other than we're really curious, like, why am I here? What has called me to planet Gaia, to Earth, to be in this human body and get up each day and do something with my time? Why? Like, what's the urge that compelled me to come have a human experience? And I feel like when we ask that with genuine curiosity and interest, and what was it Wayne Dyer said? I was just listening to an audio of his that was so good. He said, suspend disbelief. Allow for something new to come through that perhaps you haven't allowed for before. Suspend the disbelief and allow your soul will tell you. You might not like what your soul says, but your soul will tell you when you start asking those kinds of questions. I have found when I ask that, my soul almost yells at me. Like, dude, we've been trying to tell you for ages, and you just keep refusing the message. For you, it may feel more like just like a soft little whisper, and you're going, is that my soul talking? But you can feel it. This is how I know, and this is how I tell clients to trust. When you feel in your heart that, like, oh, that, yes, like, I know that's my purpose. I've known that since I was a little boy or girl. I know that. Oh, like, it's a deep longing, or the word that comes to mind is home. It's like that sense of, oh, I'm home. That's the thing. That's the path. That's the step. That's why I came here. We know it when we feel it, when we can start to hear it inside of our body. It sometimes it's like you get those chills, your arm hair stands up, or you get chills down your neck, or for me, like my ears tingle, my hair tingles. It's like this little buzz of electricity moves through my body. And I can feel it, you may feel it in this podcast space. I can feel it when others name their truth. So you may feel it when I name my truth. You just get that like, oh, oh, and your ears kind of perk up like, what was that? What was just said? Oh, I got to come back to that. What was that again? And you can feel the truth rippling. It moves across time and space and just goes shoo. It's like a cleansing. Truth is such a cleansing energy. It just comes in and goes shoo, and the bullshit's out of the way. The little stories we tell ourselves just can't be repeated because we know that they're false. We can't even say them out loud. We're in our minds. It's like the truth just clears the airwaves, and our bodies resonate with that. So you can sit quietly, you can watch this and see what comes up, and then go into your own meditation time, or put on some good music. Sit, if you're lucky enough to be in a warm climate right now, sit outside with the trees and the grass and the fresh air, and just don't do, just be, and ask the general questions. If not this path or this experience I'm currently living that feels so boxed in, then what? Or if this experience is correct and I've been viewing it as boxed in, I've been feeling like I'm locked into it, how do I shift the paradigm? How do I shift my perspective and start to allow for the gifts to come forward? There's a reason I'm in this job, or there's a reason I'm in this relationship. How do I change it slightly and allow myself to receive more than what I've been numbly going through day after day? It doesn't mean we have to blow up our lives. It means we start asking the question, and then the question starts to bring some answers, some clarity, and then we follow that. And maybe sometimes it is like you gotta get up and walk out, like this is toxic and you need out. Like maybe that is the answer, and if so, our soul will make it very clear. But often it's not that. It's just it's like one little truth will ripple through our awareness, and then we sit with that and we unpackage that and we go, I hadn't looked at it that way. Okay, well, now that I have that awareness, what's the next one, and what's going to take me closer to the path that I'm, not even the path, because you're on your path, everyone's on their path, but the alignment with the highest path, the thing that you're here to do or contribute. The thing. There's that gem, that solid knowing that we have deep inside, and it's there. It's inside each one of us. And when we get closer to it, we sometimes start to push away and block, and the resistance comes up. So you're like, oh no, it can't be that. That's gonna really make some ripples in my world, or oh, like that in front of my family or my friends, or what if people, in our minds start to have all these resistance thoughts and beliefs that come forward. But when you have that knowing and you trust that knowing and you just keep following it, it sort of blows up all those beliefs. It just clears it out, and then momentum starts to carry us. I watched an amazing video today by Santero, which you guys know I love Santero, and it was about Leo, and I don't normally watch ones that aren't for my sun, moon, or rising, but the title of it caught me, and it said, you're going to show the way first and then the others will follow. And I've been feeling that, and that's been a lot of the message that I've been receiving in my meditation time and my own healing work. It's like you just got to start. You got to step out bigger, and those who resonate with that are going to find that frequency and align with it and match you. Not match me, but match the frequency. And so I started watching it, and she was talking about what she's here to do, like her big work and it's more an energy she's embodying. She's here to do this work. And so she was talking about that in the video, and then she said, what about you? What you know, like when you know, and so why are you here? And it was so beautiful to watch that video today, right as I'm deep in this awareness that next year is about really, really stepping into more of my work. And yeah, it was like the exclamation mark on top of all that I've been looking at and exploring. I guess I should backtrack. Last night we had Quietly Listening, Andrea and I, and we set the intention of just moving through any resistance about abundance and love and prosperity and the ways that we both understand it. And in the session, I had this feeling, I'm trying to think of how, sometimes stuff just starts moving and you're not even aware of how the thoughts get you to the place, but when you land in the place, you're like, oh, this is why I'm supposed to be doing this session right now or having this conversation right now. Like, oh, it's for this gem right here. That's what was happening. And so I could hear, as I pull my ear, oh, I can't even remember what it was now. Clearly I'm being blocked from seeing what it was. I don't remember. I was looking at guides and paths and stories. I don't remember. I just remember having this sense. We were listening to music for psychedelic therapy, so it's like a cosmic experience when you bring that sound into virtual acupuncture with Andrea. It's like, whoa, out in the universe. And that's where I felt I was. And I had this sense of, I think it's because I have just been exploring this end of the year idea, like what am I wanting to focus on for next year? There's so many beautiful things, and the Prosperity Gene Keys course has been talking about that too. Like one of my gene keys is how do you decide which of the many things you're interested in are the path, like how do you choose from all of them? And so it's kind of been bubbling for a little while. And then in a podcast last week or the week before, I was talking about the Gaia's gifts and the path of going to all of the festivals and opening up all of those energy portals. And so last night in the session, it was like, it was just like all my guides were standing around me saying, you are here, remember, to do this thing. And so that's the thing that you are supposed to be focusing on. And everything else is aligning to support this thing. And it was to do the festivals, to travel the world and open up these energy portals. And I know this, and I've written about this, and I've talked about this, and I know. And also life gets busy. We get up, and we get through the day, and I get distracted, and I'm doing all these other things. But I think the other part of why it's been coming up is I've always thought I have to do it by myself. I have to come up with the plans, the processes, the money, the connections, the travel arrangements. Like I have to coordinate all of that. And what I've been learning in the Gene Keys course is partnership. The way that I thrive is I bring my genius and someone else brings their genius, and then something even better flows from that alliance, from that co-creative supportive space. And the permission for that in my own mind and my own limited beliefs, that I don't have to do it alone. And there are those who would be thrilled to go on that adventure with me and support the logistics of it. It's opened up this space inside of, I could actually do this. Like I could actually fulfill this goal, this intention. And so last night in the session, I was seeing so many of the different things that I do and the ways that I create, and hearing this urging inside of me of which one. You got to pick the one. you got to clarify the one that you really want to sort through all the other items and do this thing. And it was so clear. It's like, just begin, start going around the world and doing these things. And so today, when I was watching the Santero video and listening to her just talk about, the encouragement, her first cards were adventure and joy. I'm like, oh my God, was she in my session last night? was she listening to my mind and my heart? I'm like, how did she know this? I love that though, and I feel like the message she was giving and the message I received last night in the session was, Everything, the universe, your guides, source, will rise up to support you when you make the decision to do the thing. All the forces of the universe will align because you finally decided, you got clear, and this was the choice you made. And that was what Wayne Dyer was saying in his audio also. He said, believe, and I'll put the links to all these in the description if you want to play on the path that I've been on the last few days. He talked about believe in miracles. When you have doubt, when you seed whatever you're creating with doubt and you reinforce that thought, like, I don't believe it'll happen, I don't believe it's possible, I don't believe the people will be there, I don't believe that, the universe will have my back. When we reinforce those thoughts over and over, we create exactly what we're thinking about. And we all know this. If we study the law of attraction in any ways, or the laws of the universe, like, we know this stuff. But there's a way to live it and be it. And Wayne Dyer models that, so beautifully. The audio that he created, it was when he was 52. So I think it's almost 30 years old. 30 years old. And when he was talking in the audio, it was a presentation he was doing, a speech to a group of people. He was talking about AIDS and the fear that the media was creating, that if you get AIDS, you will die, and how people were believing that. But the doctors that he knew who had worked with AIDS patients before that belief really started to be reinforced by the media, those doctors were saying, I treated my patients and they were fine and they moved through it, and I don't know why now suddenly they're all dying. But the mass consciousness had agreed that that was what would happen. And he's talking about the power of the media and humanity reaching a, what did he call it? It's not a critical point, a critical mass shift, when a certain level of consciousness is reached, or when a certain number of people carry the same mindset, carry the same belief, then the whole consciousness shifts to reinforce that belief. You'll have to listen to the audio. I'm not quite done, but it was amazing. But he's saying all of this 30 years ago, and I'm listening to it and bringing my awareness to now, what is happening now on our planet in 2020 and 2021, and the amount of fear that continues to guide our thoughts, and how we reinforce that fear when we reinforce those thoughts, and then we create more of it, and we have more fear, and we have more negativity. Which is why I loved the titles that were questions when I went back. Fear or love? Dreams or reality? Now what? Why are you here? The questions are so powerful and so important, and they're so worthy of our time and our contemplation. My suggestion for you, if you have no idea when I say, why are you here? Like, deep why are you here? If you have nothing that comes to mind immediately, then maybe go back through those podcasts with those questions. Go in order. I'm not going to link them. You can find them. You're capable. But you've heard the titles. You can write the titles down and then go back and listen to those podcasts again. Episode 64, 145, 183, 318, 330, and then this one. Go back through and see what those podcasts bring up as we ask those questions. See what happens inside of you. And trust the little nudges that will carry you to some other article or podcast or audio, or listen to the one from Wayne Dyer and see what bubbles up inside of you, and then listen to another one that YouTube suggests from that one. That's how our soul plays. When we start asking the question, it's going to bring us the answer. It's going to find us the pathway and say, here, this. And so as we start following the pathway, our soul is going to say, yes, like, you're listening. Oh, you are listening. Oh, you are ready. Oh, you are choosing love over fear. Well, let me give you the next little nugget. And so here's this one, and here's this one. And what happens is just this incredible synergy, this flow that gives us such clear, specific answers. everything I've been doing in the month of December, everything I've been doing my whole life, but everything in the month of December has been informing me arriving at this moment of absolute clarity. Like, okay, the thing to focus on is setting up a partnership and beginning these festivals. And all the other work that I do is going to support, it's going to keep happening. I'm not going to stop doing the other work I'm doing, but it's going to support this one main focus. And when that's the main intention, momentum and energy align. The partners will show, the logistics will happen, the festivals will be organized, and then we start moving and opening up these energy portals, and then that's going to lead to the next thing and the next thing. So it's not the end of the road, but it's the contribution that I know I'm here to offer to the whole. It's the greatest gift of service I bring to the whole, which is what Richard Rudd has been asking every week in this course. What is your greatest contribution? What is your greatest service to the whole? And that's mine. And all the other things I do support that, but that's the greatest one. And so why am I hiding from that? Why have I been afraid of that? Yeah, these are big questions. And so I'm not sitting here telling you the answer or saying to you, you do this and you'll get your answer and then you'll be on your path. I'm saying be with it, sit with it, follow the signs. Your soul will get you into alignment. Your soul will bring you the answer. And perhaps when enough of us are asking this kind of a question, this big picture, big purpose question, why are you here? When we start asking that, and enough of us are curious enough about the answers that we're exploring it and sharing ideas and talking with our family and our friends and our communities, and things are shifting, things are bubbling. And more of us are aligning our choices for what we do with our time and our skills. We are aligning that with the question that's being answered, why am I here? As more and more of us are doing that, what Wayne Dyer said is still true today. We will reach this mass critical consciousness where the tipping point, the tipping point. Right now we're wobbling on a really strange tipping point, and I don't believe humanity is going to go all the way down into the crazy that is fear. I just don't. I believe in love, and I believe in the good of humanity, where we care for each other and support each other and respect each other and honor each other's choices and skills and soul contributions. And I feel like the more of us who are bringing our attention to that and coming into alignment with what our soul is saying, do this, do this thing, it's going to, you can feel the joy, like, oh, it's going to be so good. We're going to be so excited when we're sitting with others and we're having conversations. I wrote that. Why did I write that in? I think just White Light. And then the music for psychedelic therapy, they ended that album, John Hopkins ended that album with an audio by Ram Dass, and it's called Sitting Around the Fire. So his version is, we're going to end up sitting around the fire of our soul, our wisdom, our creative awareness that is bigger than the human mind and the human experience. We're all going to be sitting around the fire for eternity, sharing these stories. And the way I described it in my book was, when we start to realize what our soul's gifts are and the incarnations that we've had and the places that we have been to in consciousness outside of Gaia, outside of Earth, and we allow all of that remembering to come forward, those are the conversations that are going to delight us. Those are the conversations we'll be having sitting around the fire. We'll be talking about, remember that life? And it won't be, I have to go through hypnosis or EFT or do an energy session, or it'll just be like, oh, here's the information. Remember that life we had where da 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 da. And the ones who have traveled with us will be right next to us in human suits, but with the same soul signature, the same soul love and dynamic that we remembered from that time that we were together. Which, if we're going to jump into time, it's all happening at the same exact now moment, right? So yeah, maybe the veil that's going to lift is just dissolving this whole idea of time, and everything will just be pure consciousness flowing right here in this moment. I wonder sometimes, like, maybe you do this too. Like, I'll have this big thought, this big awareness, or I'll listen to Wayne Dyer or Richard Rudd or other genius, Zach Bush, all these really beautifully intelligent beings, like master level. And they'll say something, and I'll feel the truth of it. And then my question always is, well, when? Like, when is that going to happen? Like, I know that's where we're headed, and when? And then in my own mind, we just talked about this in the Gene Keys course last week in our community call. Someone will say a date. You know, Richard Rudd, for example, talks about 2027 as a really important year of when massive shifts will happen. And I remember reading that in the book, and I was like, nope, it's not that far away. Like, my whole body just knew. I just knew, nope. And then, you know, other speakers will talk about generations from now. So many generations from now, this shift will happen, or this climate change will end Gaia, and or Earth, we will no longer have her and be in her space. I hear these dates and lengths of time stated, and I just have this absolute knowing, like, oh, you guys, it's so much sooner than that. We're not waiting generations for this shift to happen. Like, it's gonna happen really, really soon. But I have nothing to back that up except a feeling, and knowing, a commitment within my own soul to be one of those that helps activate the momentum of that shift. Like, when I was feeling last night, and then I kept waking up all night, and this morning listening to Santero, I was feeling like when we travel to these festivals, to these locations, and the energy is opened up, what is the energy? And each of the chapters in the book describes like a specific purpose or intention that the energy was set with, and a specific story and why, and there's reason for that location and that specific energy in that time period in humanity. And yet the feeling I had was, it's love. Like, that's the energy that's activated, that's stored. That's what's stored. It's this huge outpouring of love from Gaia, love from Source, love of humanity for the future or past humanity that would be opening up the portal. Like, it's love. So of course my podcast is called like Gaia's Love, and how beautiful it is going to be when the miracle of love is activated at this next level. Like, how beyond words it's going to be, and it's all stored waiting. The stories, the energy, it's all just sitting waiting for us. And I guess that was the big tap on the shoulder last night in the session. It's like, what are you waiting for? Come on, like, let's go. Let's do this thing. So yeah, so I have some work to do to get that engine moving, and also I have the forces of the universe at my back. And we each do. And the reason I share all of this is we all have gifts as significant and important as what mine is. We all have immense contributions to add to humanity at this time. Every single one of us came here with some incredibly significant purpose. And when we align with that, and we are fulfilling that purpose and activating this energy, we will move towards that mass consciousness tipping point that much faster. And that's the steam in the engine. That's the rumble that propels us, like a volcano propels us to that shift in consciousness. And it's already happening. My sense looking at it is, fear is so powerful and driving us so strongly right now towards some sort of choice point where we as individuals literally do have to say fear or love. Which one? Like, am I going to keep doing the path of fear? Or am I going to make a full choice and drop all the way into love? Not even drop, rise all the way into love. And I see that reflected in so many of the conversations around me and then on social media and in the news. So if fear is so present for you and you feel like you're drowning in that, or you're being, it's almost like you're trying to listen to me, but it's all muffled, you know, like you can't quite hear, or you can feel what I'm saying, but you can't quite hear. It doesn't make a lot of sense. If that's what you're experiencing, I would say start with Light Protocol 01, Dispelling Fear. It's free. It's on my website. You can just put it on. There's a whole list of suggested activities and ways that you can support your mind and your body and soul. And then there's the meditation, the 20-minute Light Protocol. And what happens when we directly look at fear and we make a choice, our thought now is dispel fear. Dispel it. Pull it out of our space. That's what the Kundalini Kriya is that I've been focusing on this month. It's, hey, move the fear out. Move the fear out and align with God love, source love, the highest frequency of love. And what happens? All these places of fear show up so that I can like look at them, feel them, move through them, and release them. That's what the Light Protocol 01 will show you. It'll guide you through. And then you have the process. You come back, you do it on your own as often as you need to. If fear comes up, right? And you move through it and you dispel it. And on the other side of that fear is going to be love. And so you choose love and you choose love and you choose love. And then pretty soon that's what we're talking about. That's what we're thinking about. That's what we're creating. And there just isn't, fear just isn't in our space. There isn't room for it because we're so filled up with this knowing that we're here for some incredible purpose. I believe that every soul who is alive in a body, let me rephrase that. I believe that every soul who chose to have a physical experience at this time on our planet knew that Gaia would be going through this immense transformation of all fear being released and only love remaining. And so all souls who would come in and have human journeys were fully aware that that would be the grandest assignment, the grandest intention for all of us, is to assist in that shift. And it would take 8 billion, 9 billion of us to have enough momentum inside of the consciousness of Gaia that like a volcano, that we could just erupt into this next level of what the human species will be. And so right now it looks like a big hot mess. And there's tons of fear. And it's carrying us somewhere really important. So, why are you here? Does any of that resonate? What does it bring up in you? And are you willing to take the time and the quiet alone space to be with that and see what answers start to present themselves and follow the path? Follow the path. Yeah, to support the calendar transition, I am hosting the 2 calls that I talked about last week. So one is going to be on Monday, December 27th at noon. We're going to review 2021 in an hour. We're going to move through. It's pretty incredible how the process works. I'll guide you and the group gathered through this, like, we'll look at all of it. We'll keep what serves and we'll let go of the rest. And if you fall asleep, which you may, because it's a lot of energy to open up to in yourself, if you fall asleep, it's recorded. You come back and you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again until you're awake for the whole thing, and then you know you've cleared that energy. And then January 2nd, Sunday at noon Eastern, we are gathering again for an hour, and we will be tuning into the possibilities for 2022. 22, the number of mastery. 222, the number of big mastery. Next year is a portal unlike any other before. And so it serves to have an hour to feel into that and allow our souls to speak to us individually. So you can find the links to both of those on, well, I'll put them in the description. They'll be on my website. It's $33 for each call, each energy session, or it is $55 for both. And it's a beautiful gift to give yourself and to give those that you love. So check that out. Yeah, I'm going to read you some lyrics as we wrap up. This is from a song called Blessed We Are by Pia. P-E-I-A, I think is how you pronounce it. P-E-A-I-A. I'll put the link in the description. Here's what she offers us. Blessed we are to dance on the ground with... Oh, I need my glasses. Hold on, this is really small, sorry. Oh, so much easier. Blessed we are to dance on this ground, with the rhythm of saints to carry the sound. We hold a prayer for the earth, for the ones yet to come. May you walk in beauty and remember your song. And then in the next one she says, for the days yet to come, the ones yet to come, and the days yet to come. Remember why you came here. Remember your life is sacred. Remember why you came here. Remember your life is sacred. Maybe just sit and listen to that song on repeat for a little while and see what comes through for you. There are so many resources and so many teachings and so many wise ones who can show us the way if we just know the question to ask. And this feels like the question to ask. Why are you here? I send you off into your celebrations for the holidays with so much love. The next time you see me, there will be a tree. A tree all around me. It's gonna be amazing. Thank you for walking this year with me in this space. Enjoy going back and re-listening to the old podcast episodes. And I look forward to being with you in 2022. Thank you for tuning into this vibration of pure love. I invite you to join me in a new community on Facebook and Instagram I call the Gaia Tribe Reunion, where we show up together to share our soul's gifts, what we came here to Gaia to contribute to humanity. You can learn more at viviennegerard.com. Let's take this message of Gaia's love out into all of our relationships and communities today. So much love from my heart to yours.